So that's that. Now, from the feedback we got from last week, so I'm switching to the pandas. So from the feedback we got from last week, instead of, hope you can see my screen, or should I switch to the light mode? Is it better now?
I think the light mode will be better.
Right, cool. So from
Yeah, I think light mode is better.
yeah, all right, thanks.
Same here too.
All right. So there was a suggestion that we should prepare the slide, prepare the notebook before the meeting. So instead of typing it during the meeting, so we covered some part of pandas. I think we got to, yeah, we got here. We're looking for data to import. So when you're working with pandas, okay, a recap. Pandas is like it was built on top of NumPy, so it's for manipulating the data sets, data frames. So NumPy is usually for one-dimensional data, but Pandas is for data frames, which is like a two-dimensional data. So this is how you import your pandas by running import pandas, then give it an alias as PD. So whenever you want to use pandas, you will use PD. Pandas have saved my life a lot in Farm Crowdy. So when you're having a lot of data and you're told to analyze the data and bring out about 72 sheets from that data, it can only be not only, but it's easier done with Python, and Pandas will be a very, very helpful tool for that, or has been a very helpful tool for that. So reading your data from CSV. So with Pandas, you can read your data from different file formats. So you can read from CSV, you can read from Excel, you can even read from database. So over here, we're reading from CSV. So you just have to pass it the right query or the right method. So read CSV and then write your the link, the path to your CSV. So it must be a relative path to your CSV. So if your CSV or your data is in the folder, you have to write the folder name / data, data name.csv. So after reading your data, you visualize your data by just running the name of the data. Or if you just want to get some sample, you run .head. So head gives you the first five, but if you can pass in the parameter, like if you want to see the first, you can pass it here. So you see 9 here because it's 0 index. So scaffold. So there's another method called tail. Tail is like head, but it gets the last data instead of the first data. So you can get tail of 10. So you're getting the last 10 instead of the first 10. Oh, okay, over here. So to get your data type, the cool thing about pandas, you're dealing with data frames. And with data frames can accommodate different data types, unlike NumPy that accommodates only one data type. So we can have different columns for different data types. So we have this data sample, this data set that has a rank, which is an int, so integer. You have your plane, which is so it's an object called object, so it's a string actually. So you have position, the same thing. Salary, so the salary is a float. So the difference between a float and an integer is float have decimal points. Okay, sorry. So column, you pass this method to see the column of your data. So it's actually very, very helpful. So I use this as a method most of the time when I want to iterate through the columns. Okay, there's something I need to add to this slide, but that will be later on. So you use it when you want to iterate through the columns. Maybe you want to perform some analysis in each column. you iterate and
It reads.
on it. Please, can you mute yourself? It's echoing. Right. Thank you. And also, it's also helpful if you want to get the name and rename your column. So you can pass in this column to get the name of your column, and when you rename your column, the same thing. You can add dot column to rename the column. So example, if I want to give this column a different name, let's say I've gotten this, I want to name this, I want to name the salary, I want to call salary just salary, just give it an equal to passing this, and then
And then
it gives,
yes.
so what it does, it's rename
So what it does, it's rename.
to this new string. But I don't want to do that. Don't do that because it's going to affect the rest of the notebook. But anyway, that's fine. Just change it. So if you check your salary now, salaries now, you see it's been changed from salary with dollar sign to just salary. I want to put that back because it shows that it's um it's in millions. So back here, it's back to none. So how can you get a series from your pandas data frame? Easy. You just pass the name of the column and then gives you the column name in series. So I just want to get the player, I pass it in series and gives me the playing series. So you have two ways. You either use square bracket or use a dot notation. So either way gives you the same data. But if you look for speed, you use your dots. I kind of prefer the square brackets because you can also get a data frame from it by making it a double square bracket. So with the double square bracket, just check the output. You see it changes. Now you see it in the form of table. So this is a data frame. So unlike with a single, which is just a series, a double gives you a data frame. So you're just creating just one data frame. So back here. Um, Awesome. So we just talked about that. So creating a data frame, it's you passing your items in a double column or double. So came coming. So then, right, cool. So you passing your data in a double square bracket, it gives you the data in data frame. So what's the use of you passing data in double square bracket? Let's say you want to select some few columns. You don't want everything here. Maybe you just want the rank, the player, and then the salary. So you don't care about the position. You don't care about the team. So just passing the column you want in a double square bracket, and then you get your new data frame. So this is for selecting different columns. So if you want to talk about rows, we use the lock to select rows. So either use a lock or the iLock. So what's the difference between the lock and the iLock? You may not get to with this data because the index is in a numerical format. But the difference between the lock and the iLock, with the lock you pass the name of the item. So lock 9 gives you this item 9. But if you're using iLock 9, it gives you it still give you similar. It's going to give you the same thing because it's going to index it in same format. Okay, let me make iLock and lock make sense by creating a new data frame and passing the player as the player name as the index. So we have new salaries, and that will be equal to salaries dot sex index, and then I'll call it player. So cool. So we'll try to print out new salary. Awesome. Now you have only salary with the player's index. Now, what is the difference between your lock and your iLock? So with your lock, you're getting the row with the name of your index. So still with this still on this. So we have a new salary dot lock. Then you pass in the name of the item you want to get. Maybe I want to get this item. It's going to give me the name. But with iLock, you number it with an index. So you want to get this item with iLock, you start counting 0, 1, 2, 3. So still new salary dot iLock 3. It will give you the same thing. So iLock is in the form of integer. Lock, you call the name of the index, which may be either integer or not. So iLock, we're done with that. So creating new column. So to create new column, you just call the name of your data frame and then pass in the name of the new column in the square brackets and then give it a value. So the value could be either one value or an array. So if you're using an array, it's the length of the array must match the length of the data frame, or it's going to throw an error. So you need to have a length of the data frame before it will create your column for you. But either way, you can just pass in just the data. So if it creates a new column, it's going to give it just that input. And so removing of column. So just use the delete format. So delete um, the name of the data frame and then the column name in square brackets. So there's still other way of doing that. I hardly use the delete. What I normally use is let me create this column again. So we have 10 minutes for the meeting. So what I do is I use salaries. Um, sorry. Then I just select the column I want. So it's going to be salary is equal to salary with the name of the column I want. But I think this is way easier because you just drop in this column and it gives you your values. There's still another way of doing that. So the cool thing about Python and the pandas, you have several ways of doing the same thing. So there's still another way of doing it by calling the drop. So you can pass salaries dot drop. So you can give it a colon. So I use this often to columns equals to square bracket, then the name of your column. So some stuff. So this will still drop your column for you. So it just drops the some stuff. So either way, you're dropping your column. But this what you do here, what if you still call salary now, it's going to include some stuff. You've not added your in place. So if you add your in place, it replace this new salary with this old salary. So you're replacing it. Right now, if you leave it like this, and in the next slide you call salary, it's gonna give you with new stuff. So you just have to pass in place equals true, and then it removes it for you fine and totally. So also there. So sorry, my dad's calling. So you can use to get the dimension of your data frame, use shape. So it gives you the name of the it gives you the length of the data frame and also the colon. So generating random variable, we've done this with NumPy. So these are all NumPy. New row. I think we've done this with NumPy already. Yeah, cool. Two things that you need to be watch for. This has saved my life a million times. So creating pivot table. So we have data and you want to analyze. So they're asking you um how many teams. Okay, now group the team and give us the total salary of each team um, um, and their position. So let me make it simpler because this is two index pivot table. Let me make it simpler by passing salary with group I. So another thing, if you've seen a function and you don't know how to use the function, add a question mark after the method and then press equal to. It gives you and press, yeah, I'm trying to run it. It gives you a high level documentation on the use of that method. So what you need to pass in and some other stuff. When we go down, you see some examples on how to use it. So instead of going through this long journey, because we don't have time, I can just copy the stuff here, paste it here, and I want to check for only position, not team. So I want to get the position, I want to get the sum of their salaries. So this is what I do. It gives you for different positions. So totally, so you have only 1, 2, 3. You have only 5 positions here. So just 5 positions, and this is the total salary. So if you want to get the average salary of each position, you pass mean. So mean gives you the average salary. So for the C position, you have an average salary of 6 million annually, and then the PF position, you have an average salary of 4.9 million annually. So the rest. Now you can analyze your data and get mean sense from each data. So what I did here, it's more of a two-layer pivot table. So double index pivot table. So I checked for each team and then position in each team. So this is the and this is the 6 or 5 position in the team, and I'm getting the sum of their salary. So it goes through every team and then every position on the team and get the salary. My have used this has really helped me a lot in data analysis, analyzing data in my company. So though I hardly use group by, I prefer using pivot table. They do the same thing. I prefer using pivot table because it gives me the ability to select my values. So the cool thing about pivot table, um, you can also add something called columns here. And let me see, I want to pass in the position in columns. So it will give you a different feel and different meaning. So now cool. See, you have your team. Now you have the position as a column. So you have a position as a column and the sum of the salary for each team as a column. So it makes more sense. It's more flexible. And I want to check the average, not the sum. So you get the average of each team per position. So they do similar thing, but pivot table is far more flexible compared to the group by.